6 days of creation, a poorly planned meal, and the world's worst case of sibling rivalry. Shalom, I'm the Messianic Torah dude, and this week's Torah portion is Beresheet. So since this week's Torah portion involves the origin of the Sabbath, I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of rest and take it easy this week.
Look, I appreciate you taking a day to rest, but why do you have to do it in my office?
Anyway, the origins of the Sabbath can be traced to Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, which says, "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day God finished his work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation." Now, this passage gave me a little bit of pause because it left me wondering, why did the Lord rest? After all, in Isaiah chapter 40, verse 28, it says, "Have you not known? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He does not faint or grow weary. His understanding is unsearchable." So the obvious question of why would somebody who doesn't get tired need to take a day of rest came into my mind, which reminded me of another important theological question that we get from Matthew chapter 3, verses 13 through 17. "Then Yeshua came from Galilee to the Jordan to John to be baptized by him. John would have prevented him, saying, 'I need to be baptized by you, and do you come to me?' But Yeshua answered him, 'Let it be so now, for thus it is fitting to fulfill all righteousness.' Then he consented. And when Yeshua was baptized, immediately he went up from the water, and behold, the heavens were opened to him. And he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove, and coming to rest on him. And behold, a voice from the heavens said, 'This is my beloved Son, by whom I am well pleased.'" Baptism, or immersion, is usually for repentance or for redemption. But Yeshua lived a perfect life. Why would he need to be immersed? These two questions have some similar answers, and I wanted to focus on three particular answers that are similar between all of them. The first is kind of given to us in verse 15. "But Yeshua answered him, 'Let it be so now, for thus it is fitting for us to fulfill all righteousness.'" You see, Yeshua was baptized to give us an example to follow. The Lord rested on the Sabbath to give us an example to follow. It wasn't necessary for them to take these days, but they took them anyway in order to show us the importance of them. This is similar to how a parent will sometimes demonstrate something to a child, or how a teacher will demonstrate something to a child. Okay, so your basic punches are your jab, your cross, and your hook. Why don't you try? The other thing that this does is stress the importance of what they're doing. Shabbat is often listed first among the holy days, and often the rules of Shabbat take precedence over almost every other holy day. For example, with the exception of Yom Kippur, most holy days, even if it's a fast day, you're still allowed to eat when it falls on a Sabbath. The rules of the Sabbath take precedence over it. And that kind of gives us an idea of the importance of the Sabbath. That gives us an idea of the value of the Sabbath. Then we look at the stories of immersion. Of course, immersion is a critical part to accepting Yeshua. In John chapter 3, Yeshua says that unless somebody is born of water and the Spirit, he does not belong in the kingdom of heaven. And in Acts chapters 2, 10, 16, and several other places, we see immersion closely linked with the accepting of Yeshua. These holy examples we have sort of reinforce the importance of the Shabbat and of being immersed. The third thing is it sets them apart as unique. And Shabbat and immersion are both very unique in the restorative nature of these two things. Shabbat is a time for physical and spiritual and emotional restoration, whereas immersion is a time that our relationship with the Lord is restored and strengthened and built up. So what are some other ways that Shabbat is like immersion? Let me know in the comments, and if we gave you a laugh, give us a like, and if you learned something, give us a share. I'm the Messianic Torah Dude. Shalom, and stay in the Word.